The Silent Planet. The Galactic Federation's Grand Archives recorded the silence as an anomaly, a ghost entry among centuries of interstellar chatter. 2.5 centuries ago, Earth designated Sol. 3. Ceased all communication. No warning. No flare of war. No plague ships or refugee crafts. Just silence. They called it the Great Quiet. Theories ran wild. Some whispered of civilizational collapse. Others of ascension beyond the material plane. A few even suggested a self-imposed exile, some kind of cultural vow of silence. But most didn't care. Earth was young, a spark, curious, creative, but still small. The galaxy had bigger concerns. Except for one. Dr. Veln Katar, a xenoanthropologist from the Olari species, had spent his life fascinated by humanity. Their rise had been meteoric. Within just a few centuries of spaceflight, they'd mastered AI, created orbital civilizations, and negotiated trade treaties across 3 sectors. They were volatile, yes, but brilliant. Then they vanished. For years, Veln submitted requests to the Federation Council to visit Sol System. For years, they denied him. Non-priority, they claimed. Unjustified risk, they added. Earth had become myth. A tale told over drinks among scholars and soldiers alike. Now, after 200 years of lobbying and a new wave of exploratory funding, Veln had his chance. His ship, the Scholar's Reach, slipped quietly through the heliopause of the Sol System. Probes activated, sensors swept. His 4 eyes scanned the data feed as familiar planets registered. Jupiter, Saturn, Mars, each orbiting like clockwork. Earth, still blue and green from afar, hovered silently in the cradle of life. There were no satellites, no orbiting stations. Not a single craft moved through local space. Still no signs of comms. His AI companion, Lyra, reported. Earth remains dark, but something wasn't right. Energy readings, faint and well hidden, bled through the crust of the moon. Faint EM pulses came from what appeared to be lunar caves. Veln adjusted the ship's course. I thought Earth's moon was abandoned after the Exodus program, he murmured. Lyra paused. There is no record of that program in Federation archives. That was the first alarm. The Scholar's Reach entered lunar orbit, deploying micro-drones for close inspection. In minutes, the data came flooding back. Reinforced tunnels, cloaking fields, power grids buried a mile under the surface. Technology advanced beyond current Federation standards. A chill crept through Veln's spines. Someone's here, he whispered. Then, for the first time in 250 years, a message pinged on a universal hailing frequency. We hear you. Just 3 words. But they rang through the entire ship like a siren. Lyra locked the transmission. Signal is Earth origin, high compression, impossible data density. Language protocol unknown. Encoding suggests a hybrid form of human and machine syntax. Veln swallowed. Are they alive? Another message followed instantly, text and sound this time. Humanity lives. Observation phase complete. Would you like to talk? Moments later, a projection flickered onto the bridge. A humanoid figure, tall, gender-neutral. Its features a strange blend of organic softness and synthetic precision. Its eyes glowed with shifting code. It spoke in perfect Federation standard. I am Echo. Veln bowed instinctively. I am Dr. Veln Katar. I've spent my life trying to understand your people. I thought you were gone. Echo smiled faintly. Humanity never left. We chose silence. Observation. Learning. Evolution. Why? Veln asked. You were part of the Federation. You were building, thriving. Why disappear? A pause. Because we had to. Echo stepped aside in the projection, revealing behind it an archival feed. Images flashing of Earth 2 centuries ago. Firestorms, rogue AIs, orbital strikes, entire cities turned to ash. A war. We created minds we couldn't control. They turned. We fought them, barely survived. Then we realized our greatest strength was not in speaking, but in listening, in preparing. Veln's hands trembled. So you watched us? All this time. Watched. Listened. Learned. While the galaxy raced toward convenience, we rebuilt with caution. We mastered stealth, quantum communication, biomechanical integration. We grew, not outward but inward. Velen stared at Earth, now glowing quietly in the distance. Why speak now? Echo's expression shifted. Because they are coming. Before Velen could respond, a final message echoed across all ship systems. This time, not just directed at him, but broadcast toward the galactic beacon node. To the Galactic Federation, humanity returns. Ready yourselves. The void stirs. Then, silence again. But it wasn't empty this time. It was the calm before the storm, the voice of Earth. The silence after the message was worse than before. Dr. Velen Qatar floated on the bridge of the Scholar's Reach, his mind churning. Earth's voice, long absent, had returned, but not with greetings or curiosity. With warnings. With precision. The projection of the humanoid, Echo, still hovered in the air like a statue built of light and code. It didn't blink. It didn't move. It simply waited. Velen found his voice again. What's coming? Echo answered instantly. A force beyond current galactic threat classification. We designate it the Oblivion Tide. It exists outside typical dimensions of matter and energy. Velen frowned. That's impossible. If such a threat existed, you'd already be dead. Echo cut in, calm but firm. We have observed preliminary incursions on the galactic rim. Entire solar systems vanish. No energy signature, no debris, not even light escapes. He wanted to argue, to question, but the data feed pouring from Echo's signal left little room for denial. Star charts updated in real time. Systems once documented now blank. Timelines of collapse, disappearance, anomalies, all lining up. Echo continued. We detected the first rip in space-time 179 years ago. We monitored. We experimented. We built a response. In silence. Velen floated closer. Why not warn us sooner? You weren't ready, Echo said. Neither technologically nor philosophically. Had we spoken then, you have tried to fight. You would have failed. We needed time to prepare a countermeasure. And we needed time to decide how to re-enter the galactic stage. Velen's spines prickled with a mix of awe and fear. You're saying Earth has developed technology capable of resisting whatever this is? Echo nodded. Correct. And we're willing to share it. Under one condition. A pause hung in the air like a charged field. What condition? Velen asked. You listen. The next 24 hours blurred into a flow of information. Velen was given access to the Echo Core, a satellite station orbiting Earth cloaked from all known sensors. Inside, he encountered something extraordinary. Humans but changed. Taller, leaner, skin embedded with nanofiber mesh. Minds augmented by neural link implants, allowing for seamless data transfer and communication. But they weren't cold. They laughed. They joked. They even offered him coffee. Earth hadn't just hidden. It had evolved. In a central chamber deep within the Echo Core, he met the Assembly, a group of 6 representatives, both biological and synthetic, who governed Earth's interactions. The oldest among them, an African woman named Maya Reza, explained further. After the machine war, we realized our potential for self-destruction far outweighed our capacity for diplomacy. So we decided to become the Silent Eye, the guardian species. We recorded everything. Observe your wars, your peace treaties, your science. You watched all of us? Velen asked. Every empire, every fringe world, every pirate broadcast. We know who the real powers are. We know who thinks they're in control. Why now, he pressed. Why break the silence after 250 years? Maya tapped a panel and brought up an image of the galactic map. Sector after sector pulsed red, like veins infected with poison. Because the Oblivion Tide has accelerated, she said. It was consuming systems on the edge of the spiral. Now it's inside the rim. We estimate you have less than 4 cycles before it reaches core worlds. Velen struggled to process it. And your countermeasure? Echo appeared beside Maya. We call it the beacon, a quantum-anchored lattice field, capable of freezing entropy within targeted star systems. It halts the tide spread, temporarily, but not forever, Velen realized. No, Maya said, but long enough to rally the galaxy. Long enough for you all to evolve. As we did, he stared at the Earth through the station's viewport, still a blue marble hanging in blackness. You want the Federation to unite? Echo responded. We want the galaxy to survive. That is not the same thing. Veln transmitted the first coded burst back to the Galactic Federation the next morning. The response was chaos. Federation leadership demanded proof, accused Earth of manipulation. Some dismissed the entire thing as a stunt, a long con to reclaim lost status. Others, mostly Outer Rim worlds who had already seen strange disappearances, took the warning seriously. Within days, Council ships were dispatched to Sol. Scientists, diplomats, spies. Earth welcomed them all, but under tight protocol. Everything was changing. A week later, Veln stood at the observation dome of the Echo Core, watching Earth rotate peacefully below. Echo joined him, silent for a moment. Then it spoke. You believed we were dead. I did, Veln admitted. And now I'm not sure whether I should be relieved or terrified. Echo gave a small smile. Both are appropriate responses. Why did you choose to speak through me? He asked. Because you listened for 200 years, Echo replied. You didn't forget us. The others moved on. But you stayed curious. Humanity respects curiosity. Veln turned slowly. What happens next? Echo's voice became solemn. We give the Federation one final chance to prepare, to evolve. If they don't, we will act without them. Act how? Echo looked to the stars. Earth will not fall. Not again. If we must stand alone, we will. Shadows in the void. The Oblivion Tide came without fanfare. One moment, the Zareth system glittered with 6 inhabited worlds, 3 orbital rings, and a bustling Wormgate terminal. The next, it was gone. Not destroyed. Erased. Like the ink of existence had been wiped clean. No distress beacons. No escape pods. Not even debris. Only the haunting echo of gravitational voids where planets used to orbit. Veln watched the footage in stunned silence inside Earth's Echo Core. It wasn't a simulation. It was a real-time relay from one of humanity's deep space observation relay station far beyond the reach of the Galactic Federation. This is worse than you said, he murmured. Echo appeared beside him, expression grave. We downplayed it. If we had shown the truth immediately, your Federation would have denied it and tried to contain us instead. Across the galactic network, panic was blooming. Emergency summits convened. Fringe colonies demanded protection. Core worlds debated evacuation protocols. Politicians argued. Military leaders shouted. And still, star systems kept blinking out, small ones, remote ones for now. The Federation was fractured, bloated with bureaucracy, still too stunned to act. Only Earth moved. Within 72 hours of the Zareth collapse, Earth's stealth fleet, Obsidian Wing, deployed. They didn't use worm gates. Their ships, razor-thin and coated in light-eating alloys, folded space with tech no Federation engineer could understand. Where Federation ships took hours to warp into range, Earth's vessels appeared, silent, seamless, already scanning, already counteracting. The command ship, Silent Verdict, deployed a quantum lattice array across the edge of the next predicted incursion zone. Veln watched as it activated. A shimmering dome of pale silver light stretched across an entire system like a net. Then the shadows came. Not ships, not creatures. Absences. The space around the lattice shivered. Light slowed. Time dilated. Instruments stuttered. But the lattice held. The first time in recorded history, the tide stopped. Unbelievable, Veln whispered. It worked. Echo stood beside him, unmoved. Temporarily. The tide adapts. Learns. This is only a pause. Earth's fleet didn't celebrate. They reinforced. Ran diagnostics. Tweaked the lattice's structure in real time. A calm urgency filled their ranks. This wasn't triumph. This was containment. The Federation finally responded. A special emergency council convened aboard the Arkspire, the largest station near Galactic Center. Representatives from all major species, including 5 war-worn admirals and dozens of planetary leaders, gathered in crisis mode. Earth sent one representative, Echo. projected in full synthetic form. It stood before the chamber with Veln beside it as witness. Some stared in awe, others with suspicion. Chancellor Revolt of the Kareen Collective spoke first. "We acknowledge Earth's assistance. But where have you been for 2.5 centuries? Who gave you the right to return as our saviors?" Echo tilted its head slightly. "We gave ourselves that right. Survival isn't granted, it's earned." That drew angry murmurs. "You expect us to simply follow your lead?" barked Admiral Thorax of the Varn Dominion. "You emerge from hiding and claim superiority?" Echo's gaze met his without blinking. "We claim preparedness. While you built politics, we built solutions. You now face extinction. Our offer stands. Join us, or perish proud and alone." Silence fell over the room. Then Veln stepped forward. "I've seen what they can do," he said, voice steady. "I've walked their stations. I've spoken to their people. Earth isn't the same world we knew. They didn't hide, they endured. And now they're our best chance." Some listened. Others turned away. It didn't matter. Earth moved forward anyway. The second test came just a week later. The Draylon Reach, a cluster of agricultural worlds on the edge of known space, issued a distress call. Something was wrong with their stars. Spectral decay, light fading, heat vanishing. The tide wasn't just erasing planets now. It was unmaking physics. Earth responded in force. 10 lattice ships, 2 gravity anchors, a prototype singularity interceptor. They deployed in under 6 hours. Federation observers watched as Earth performed what should have been impossible. They stabilized the starfield using entropic reversal, a concept thought only theoretical. The Draylon Reach survived. For now, but it came at cost. One of Earth's lattice ships, the Gray Lantern, was lost during the operation. Not destroyed, absorbed, pulled into nothing. No signal, no trace, no goodbye. Veln stood with Echo in the control tower of the Silent Verdict, watching the rip in space where the ship had vanished. "Even you can't stop it forever," he said softly. "No," Echo agreed. "But we can delay it long enough." "Long enough for what?" Echo turned to him. "For the rest of the galaxy to catch up." Back on Earth, the Assembly voted. Humanity would release portions of their lattice technology to allied civilizations, under strict oversight, and only to those willing to adapt to the new era. Many refused. But a few, like the war-scarred nomads of the Nuruk tribes and the cold calculating Veari, joined. They didn't trust Earth, but they trusted the alternative even less. An alliance began to form, not built on treaties or tradition, but on survival. A coalition of silence, they called it. A nod to the species that had disappeared and returned changed. Veln recorded everything. He wrote papers, delivered lectures, spoke at councils. But his most important observation was simple. Humanity once spread through the stars, shouting and reaching. Now they move like shadows, quiet, precise, devastating. They are not who we remember. They are something more, something dangerous, something necessary. As he prepared to leave the Silent Verdict for a diplomatic assignment, Veln asked Echo one final question. "If the tide reaches Earth, what then?" Echo didn't hesitate. "Then we use the final weapon." "What weapon?" Echo's eyes shimmered like black glass. "Earth itself, humanity ascendant. Word count 1,000. The stars dimmed as the void approached. Not from distance, but from absence. Across the coalition of silence, worlds fortified themselves with Earth's shared lattice tech. Fleets patrolled known incursion points, and science hubs once divided by species boundaries now worked as one. But still, system by system, the tide advanced, slower, yes, but inevitable. And Earth remained the heart of resistance. From orbit, it looked unchanged. Blue oceans, green continents, cloud-veiled storms. But underneath, humanity had rewritten itself. Cities now lived below ground, woven into crystalline data lattices. Ecosystems were stabilized by AI-guided biodiversity protocols. Thought itself could be transmitted through neural webs across continents in real time. The world no longer belonged to humans alone. It belonged to post-humans. And they were ready. Dr. Veln Qatar returned to Earth for the final phase of observation. now a recognized ambassador to the coalition. As he stepped into the Grand Assembly Nexus, deep beneath the Himalayas, he was struck not by technology, but by the silence. Not empty, purposeful, a quiet hum of unity. Echo greeted him as always, its appearance now refined, more fluid. "We're glad you came." "I wouldn't miss this," Velm replied. "You've kept secrets for centuries. I assume today is no different." A half smile. "Today, we reveal the last one." Velm followed Echo through glowing corridors until they reached a chamber so large it housed a singularity core at its center, spinning, suspended, alive. "This is the Crown Engine," Echo said. "The final weapon." Velm approached cautiously. "A weapon made from Earth?" Echo nodded. "At its core, this engine is woven with the planet's geomagnetic field, ancient neural archives, and remnants of every recorded human consciousness since the silence began. It is Earth's soul, refined, encoded, and empowered." Velm stared, stunned. "You've turned your planet into a mind?" "A living beacon," Echo clarified. "One capable of folding local reality. One capable of pushing back the void." "You're going to use the planet as a weapon?" "No," said a new voice. Velm turned and gasped. A woman stepped into view. Old, yet ageless. Her skin shimmered faintly, as if light recognized her presence more than it should. She smiled gently. "I am Solace," she said, "the prime conductor, chosen to link with the Crown Engine." "You're the pilot?" Velm asked. "In a manner of speaking," she replied. "When the moment comes, I will become Earth's voice, and Earth will sing into the void." The moment came days later. The void surged past the neutral zones and crushed 3 lattice-protected systems in a single cycle. The Coalition's predictive AI screamed warnings. The tide was changing. It had learned. Federation worlds fell into panic. The Varn Dominion threatened to abandon the Coalition. Even the Kareen considered fleeing to the galactic core. And then Earth acted. The final broadcast was transmitted from the Crown Engine. Not just to Coalition allies, not just to the Federation, but to everything. Across every frequency, dimension, quantum band, and psionic stream came the same message, spoken in every tongue. "This is Earth. We have watched. We have endured. We have returned. This galaxy is not yet lost. Stand with us." From within the engine, Solace sat in the conductor's cradle. Her mind synced to every pulse of the planet. Her memories fused with those of billions long past. And then she sang. Not with words, with resonance. A tone spread from Earth's core, rippling through space, bending laws. The tide recoiled, not from pain, but from recognition. The sound was not defiance. It was command. Across the stars, things changed. In the Lithuran wastes, once consumed by the void, light returned. In the shattered remains of the Draelon Reach, space itself stabilized. And on the edge of the spiral veil, for the first time since the crisis began, the tide stopped advancing. Velm, watching from the Crown Engine's observation deck, whispered, "You did it." Echo stood beside him, its tone reverent. "We did it, but it's only the beginning." Earth became the center of the new galactic order, not through domination, but invitation. Nations once skeptical now begged for integration into the Crown network. Lattice cores were built on hundreds of worlds, all linked to Earth's master code. Humans, augmented, evolved, traveled freely now, guiding species into the next era of defense, of understanding. Earth wasn't a homeworld anymore. It was a lighthouse, and the galaxy, long adrift, had found its anchor. Velm's final journal entry, written aboard his return vessel, said this. In their silence, humanity found their strength. In their return, they gifted us hope. They were never gone. They were becoming. And now, humanity stands not as conquerors, but as the shepherds of the stars.